Hi, let's learn Disney Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, a 2 to 4 player game by Prospero Hall, published by Funko Games. Move your minecart through the mine shaft of Big Thunder Mountain to pick or pan for gold. Sell the gold in town to upgrade your mining operations or earn points. The goal of the game is to be the player with the most points after endgame scoring. To set up, first take the mine tray and set it in the middle of the play area. Next, we'll take the 4 game board pieces and place the 2 with the mine carts beyond yonder mountain. And the 2 pieces with the score track on the bottom will go at the bottom. Then take the mountain peak and place it at the top of the mine. There are 4 different kinds of marbles: the yellow gold marbles, the brown gold ore marbles, the blue water marbles, and the red fate marbles. For now, grab the gold ore, and water marbles together, then mix them up and place them in the basin. Take the mine cover and cover the basin. Take one of the 2 red marbles and drop it into the basin. The other red marble we'll keep in the box as a spare. Prepare the mine shafts by running marbles from the mountain, 1 for each player in the game. Let's set up a 3-player game. To run a marble, turn the mountain peak so the opening is facing the basin and a marble drops in. Then continue turning so the opening is facing the mine and the marble runs into one of the 7 mine shafts. Next, take the fate cards, shuffle them together, and place them in a face-down deck by the board. Then take the town shares cards, shuffle them together, then place it face down as its own deck next to the game board. Then draw a number of shares that is 1 less than the amount of players, so in our 3-player example, 2 cards, and place that face down next to the score track. Next, take the supplies mat and place it below the score track. The game comes with 4 starter supplies decks and 1 regular supplies deck. For now, be sure each color is separated out and take the regular supplies deck, shuffle it together, place it to the left side of the supplies mat, then draw 3 cards and place them face up on the mat beside each other to form the market. Next, take the upgrade tiles and separate them by type. Before placing them into individual stacks, make sure there are 1 fewer of each than the number of players. So for our 3-player game, we will remove 1 of each type. The spare tiles will go back into the box. They will not be used this game. Then place the upgrade tiles into their own stacks by the game board. Next, take the town tokens and place them by the board. Now let's set up the individual players. The game comes with 4 different colors. So each player will take a minecart, a locomotive, player mat, starting cards, as well as a reference card. Set your mat in your player area, take your starting supplies, shuffle them together, then place that face down to the left of the player mat in the supplies deck location. Then take 4 cards to create your hand. Keep it secret from other players. Next, place your minecart in town on the space that matches your color, and your locomotive on the first space of the score track. The first player to shout "Yeehaw!" goes first. On your turn, the first thing you do is run 3 marbles. If a red fate marble ever comes out, continue running marbles until you have completed all 3. Flip over the top card of the fate deck, resolve its effect, then take the red fate marble and drop it back in the basin. If the basin ever ran out of marbles, you simply wouldn't run any more marbles. And if the red fate marble had come out during this time, put it back without running any more marbles. The next thing to do on your turn after running marbles is to play cards. You play cards from your hand 1 at a time, and play each action in any order, 1 at a time. First up, we have move. When doing a movement, minecarts always move clockwise. We move our minecart the number of spaces indicated. So in this case, to leave town, we would go 1, 2 spaces. Now other mine carts can go through a space, 2, 3, 4. However, if someone were to land on the same space, and that's where they stop, it would bump the player into the next spot. When arriving and stopping in town, the entire town counts as one space. So everyone has their own space, so there is no need to bump each other. Minecarts can never be bumped out of town. When a minecart arrives in town, it will always go to its matching space without bumping anyone else. And when it is your turn, it is possible for you to move into town, take your town actions, then move out of town. And that includes continuing on using the same card. And if you wish, you may go ahead and skip town. And you are not required to use the full movement amount. However, when you move on to another movement, you cannot come back to use the remaining amount. Next up, we have Pick for Gold. Pick for Gold means to take one gold or gold ore from the mine shaft and place it in your mine cart. This action cannot be taken if there is water in the mine shaft. Next is Pan for Gold. When you pan for gold, you must take a gold or gold ore from a mine shaft that has water in it. Next, Bail Water. Bail water means to remove one of the water marbles from the mine shaft. You would then place that water marble into the basin, take a town token from the supply, and place it on a vacant circle spot on your player mat. If you choose to bail water, but already have 5 tokens on your player mat, you would simply not take any more tokens. Then we have Resupply. Resupply means to take one of the 3 face-up cards of the market, replace that with the top card of the supplies deck, then place that new card in your discard pile. Then, when it comes time to draw new cards, but there are none, you would take the supplies discard pile, shuffle it, and draw 4 more cards. So that card is now a possibility to draw. Then we have this or discard to move. When you have a card with 2 actions, but one of them says or discard to move, you cannot take both actions. So if you choose to do the discard to move, you would indeed discard it and then move your minecart 1 space. And finally, found only in the regular supplies deck, we have Crosscut Tunnel. When playing Crosscut Tunnel, first run a marble. Then you may choose if you wish to go around the board into that spot, bumping anyone who might be there. If you play Crosscut Tunnel, but the marble you run is a red Fate marble, resolve the top card of the Fate deck before deciding if you wish to move to that mineshaft. Then drop the red Fate marble back into the basin. And remember, these actions are optional. So when you play a move 5, you can move up to 5 spaces. If you only want to move 3, that is fine. Also, doing a card's actions in any order means you can bail water, pick for gold, and choose not to move. The same thing goes for cards. So if you use the actions of one card, but then move on to the next card, you cannot go back to the card that you have moved on from. When you have completed the actions you've chosen to take on a card, set that card on the discard side of the supplies mat. When you have completed the actions you've chosen to take, and decided to not use every card in your hand, you may either put the remaining in the discard pile or draw back up to 4 cards. Either way, at the end of your turn, you will have 4 cards back in your hand. When you are in town on your own turn, you can take each town action one at a time. You can do them in any order, and they're all optional. First, let's look at Sell Gold in your minecart. Each raw ore you have is worth either 1 town token or 1 point. Each gold is worth 2 town tokens or 2 points. When you are done with the marbles, drop them back into the basin. When you come to town, you can buy an upgrade tile or a town share, but you cannot do both. If you choose to buy a town share, it costs 2 town tokens. You would then draw the top card of the town shares deck, go ahead and look at it, but then place it face down in front of you. And each share will be worth 1, 2, or 3 points at the end of the game. Alternatively, you can trade in a certain amount of town tokens to buy an upgrade. When choosing an upgrade, the town token cost is printed on the upper right of each tile. Place that number of town tokens back in the token pile, then place that upgrade tile in one of the 3 upgrade locations. And any upgrades you have are used for the remainder of the game. But after taking one upgrade tile, the same player could not pick another tile of the same upgrade. For the pick counts as pan upgrade, you can do a pick action in a mineshaft that has water. For the 2 town tokens for Bale Water upgrade, when you choose the Bale Water action, take 2 town tokens instead of 1. For the pick and pan at nearby shafts upgrade, you can choose to pick or pan in a mineshaft next to the one you are at. But if you are at a mineshaft that is next to town, you are only next to 1 mineshaft. For the raw ore counts as gold nuggets upgrade, you can trade in a raw ore for 2 town tokens or 2 points. For the new supplies into hand upgrade, when you choose a new card from the market, instead of placing it in your discard pile, you can place it directly into your hand and choose to play it this turn. And for the 5-card hand upgrade, when it is time to draw new cards, draw 5 instead of 4. When a player's locomotive reaches or passes the 20-point spot on the score track, the game is nearly over. That player then looks at the town shares that were placed by the score track and chooses one for themselves. This is the final turn for that player, who then continues on their turn as normal. The other players then would take their final turn. And if one of those players reaches or passes the 20-point mark, they would take one of the remaining town shares. If players have gold or raw ore in their mine carts when the game is over, they would get half the amount of points they are worth, rounded down. So now 1 gold is worth 1 point, and a raw ore is worth half a point, so the odd one out, rounded down, is worth 0 points. Then add the amount of points each player has from town shares, and whoever has the most points is the winner. If there was a tie, the person with the most town tokens is the winner. Before we go, if you wish to have a longer game, you may change the endgame trigger from 20 points to 25 points. Thank you for joining me as we learn Disney Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I invite you to join me next time as I do a playthrough.